So the first letter that you normally see, which is down the end, would be C. So let's turn around C and let's have an imaginary C. So I'm going to turn her. Come on, Miss Gracie. C. Can you tell me something in mythology that begins with C?
Cerberus.
Cerberus. Give her a little nudge with your heels and let's walk to C. Tell me about Cerberus.
Three-headed guardian of Hades. Three-headed dog, basically.
And lean back and just do a little resistance to stop. Good. Cool.
Let's see. Falls asleep when listens to music.
Uh-huh.
Think of much else.
And what country's mythology?
Greece.
Greece. Okay. Now let's E, in a dressage arena, E would be there. So let's go to E on the wall. Greece is in what continent? It begins with E?
Europe.
Europe, right. Where does the term Europe come from? It's to do with Greek mythology.
Europa.
Europa. Who was Europa?
One of Zeus's lovers. He turned into a bull and rode her across the Strait of Gibraltar, I think it was.
Very cool.
Mediterranean.
Where is Gibraltar?
I think it's right by the southern tip of Spain.
Facing another continent?
Yeah.
It probably begins with A that's over there.
Goes down to Africa.
Goes down to Africa, okay. Seeing as we're just on the subject of A, which is right where Kim is, just give her a little nudge with your heels again. There you go. And let's go over to A. Can you think of anything in Greek mythology that begins with A? Welcome.
Apollo.
Apollo. Who was Apollo?
The sun god.
And what did he do? And just lean back a little bit and give a little resistance on your imaginary reins. Ooh, good.
I seem to remember he was a pretty good archer.
Uh-huh. What else was he the god of?
Right, medicine.
Yeah. Learning, maybe.
Learning, and that symbol with that doctors sometimes use with the staff with the.
For that we need to go back to C. Can you just turn on your imaginary and open your hand towards C and push with your left leg a little bit. There. Good. Okay, C. I know what that symbol's called. It's called a caduceus. A caduceus. And what's on a caduceus? Can you picture it in your mind?
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's a bow and arrow with a serpent around it, or something like that.
No, I think it was just a staff.
Is it just a staff with a?
Yeah.
Okay. Here we are at C again. So, what other mythologies do you know?
Mostly Eastern philosophy. Mythology.
So we're back at C. Anything from C for Eastern mythologies or philosophies spring to mind? I'm trying to think.
I can't think of anything.
Well, we could leap from Greece across to Asia through what they used to call Asia Minor, which is now Turkey, and the Greeks used to call that Chaldea, A-L-D-E-A, Chaldea. Chaldea goes into Persia, which is Iran, Iraq. Persia goes to the rest of Asia. Let's go up to B, which is over there on that wall. So what I want you to do now is open your hand towards B and just nudge a little bit with your right leg. There we go. Good. And let's go towards B. Now, I'm just thinking of a figure in... We don't know if he was mythical, we don't know if he was historical, but a lot of philosophies around him in Asian and Eastern mythology. And lean back and resist with your imaginary reins, and oh, good. Who's this B guy?
Buddha.
The Buddha. Who was the Buddha? Tell us about the Buddha.
Born Siddhartha Gautama, he was raised a prince until one day he snuck outside the walls of the palace and discovered aging, sickness, death, and on his next trip he found a wandering ascetic. So, just some guy walking around, really thin, and he decided to leave the palace and become one of them to try and find enlightenment. So he tried that, and that didn't quite work out. So he kind of chose what's known as the middle path between pampering and mysticism. So he just he basically ate a good meal, sat under the Bodhi tree, and meditated for I don't know how many days, but eventually he found the answer, whatever it was, and he went back and started preaching Buddhism.
And what is the main tenet of Buddhism? What does Buddhism tell us to do?
To let go of attachments. There's also the Eightfold Path, which it's like right thought, right action, like not harming animals on purpose, not working at a job that harms nature.
Right, livelihood, isn't
right.
it? Yeah. And giving up attachment. Now, why is that important?
Because everything just goes away eventually.
Yeah. You know, I think he said something else which I like, is that suffering equals pain times resistance. That was one of the nicest things I think he ever said.
I haven't heard that one.
So that you should embrace and accept the things that you can't change, because if you resist them, it makes them worse.
I definitely have noticed that in my life.
I have too. Tell you what, shall we walk once round? And to do that, give a little nudge. Just keep your legs where they are. Oh, yeah, there you go, like that. Say, walk on. Good. Now what I want you to do is hold your hands in front of you as if you had a pair of imaginary reins. Okay. Maybe just a little bit in front of your tummy. About an inch off the horse's neck. That's good, like that. And I want you to practice making her halt by just leaning back a little bit with those reins. Say, ho! Good. And then making her walk on again, just by a little bit of heel again. And there you go. Cool. So, what do you think is the thing that we could most learn from Buddhism?
It just teaches acceptance, and basically it's just going with the flow of life, and I think there are a lot of people who could stand to learn from that. There are a lot of problems in the world, and people are ignoring them and focusing on some problems that maybe can't be changed. We should just let them go, and maybe they'll solve themselves eventually.
How do you think attachment makes us suffer? How do you think attachment, if we're supposed to let go of attachment, how does attachment contribute to these problems that we have in the world?
Because it hurts to let go, and it also gives rise to greed.
Yes.
Which is the main cause of a lot of the world's problems.
So do you think that if we let go of emotional and physical attachment to things, that we could actually be happier?
Yes.
Fantastic. Well, in that case, I think you've taught me something, and I'm very grateful. Would you like to try the same thing that we just did at the next step up on the horse, which is a little trot?
Yeah.
Okay, if you feel ready. What I'll do is we'll go around there, and as we come around the corner and trot up towards everybody, I want you to just recap why you feel attachment is not such a good thing for humanity. It's just a little kick with your heels, and let's go. Walk on.
Stay at her head so that she keeps trotting. Stay at her head so she keeps trotting.
Well, it's kind of the fact that everything just goes away eventually, and it kind of hurts to let go and just let things do what they do. And I feel and too much attachment can lead to greed, which the main cause of the world's problems, but too much detachment can actually lead to just not caring about the world.
Oh, so we have to have some attachment.